Good morning. You're now listening to Kingston Community Radio, airing on FM 92.5 and AM 920 WGHQ, Kingston, New York. This programming is brought to you by our listeners and corporate underwriters who are interested in presenting local community radio. The opinions expressed on this program do not represent those of Hamel Broadcasting or Kingston Community Radio. Listeners are encouraged to send in $10 per month to help bring this program to you. Mail your contributions to Kingston Community Radio, Post Office Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402. For more information or to donate online, visit our website at mykcr.org. And good morning, this is Dan Gaddis, and it's a terrific Tuesday today. And thank you for being up with us, 7 to 9 a.m. today, as every weekday. It's December 7th today, Tuesday, December 7th, 34 degrees starting out today. We'll be right back.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone?
Do flowers have best friends?
I don't know. Hey, look.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
Their age.
the way they speak.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed. We are a global force for good. Support causes that matter. Change lives. Change communities. Change the world. We can do more together than we can alone. Join in. Experience the joy of serving. Be part of the movement. Give back. Let's unite the world for good. We are Lions. You can be too. Visit weserve.org.
This is Cameron Rylands. Many families in our area will not have a happy holiday, and the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund will help them. We are asking for your contribution to purchase children's clothes, toys, and food for seniors. You can drop off your contribution at the Boyce Brothers Dairy Milk House on O'Neill Street in Kingston. Thank you.
You're listening to KCR, Kingston Community Radio, WGHQ, 920 AM, 92.5 FM, and streaming online at mykcr.org. 331-9255 is our call-in number. Partly to mostly cloudy today with a high of 40. No chance of rain whatsoever. And Tuesday night, this evening, cloudy skies, a few flurries or snow showers possible, about a 25% chance of that, with a low of 28. And Wednesday, overcast with a few flurries or snow showers as well. Same kind of chance, about a 20% chance with a high of 38 for Wednesday. And Wednesday night, mostly cloudy early, then clearing later on with a low of 26. Now let's get to the on-air studio with Nina Postchapak and Cameron Rylands.
It is a terrific Tuesday.
Good morning.
And it's daybreak.
Yeah,
it's
light in the sky.
Yes.
Even though it's still getting darker, or the days are still getting shorter for a little while.
They are. It was an awfully dreary day yesterday. I mean, it felt like nighttime most of the day. And in the county building, you have those tinted windows, so it just adds to that darkness.
Yeah, it's like wearing sunglasses on a cloudy day.
Right. Yeah, I know. So I hope we have a little sunshine today. I think we're going to.
Be nice, but warm though. Pretty nice weather coming up. Yeah. I mean, a little snow tomorrow morning, I guess. Is that tomorrow morning? I think.
Yeah, maybe a tracing.
Sorry, we were talking. We didn't listen. We didn't listen to your weather forecast.
No, we were catching up on the week, right?
Hopefully, our listeners did.
Yeah, tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Okay, tomorrow night.
A little flurries possible.
Oh, yeah.
Usually when it comes to flurries, if it's a 25% chance, you'll see something.
Yeah. But the ground's not frozen, so if the sun comes out, it'll melt.
Yeah, it's not bad, right?
But where's it?
And look who's talking. The man who was down in beautiful 90-degree weather.
Was beautiful. Yeah. Sweating. We was out Saturday down by the beach, enjoying, lunch and the sights and walking, just walking. I was like, I got to get a hat. I mean, because if the game was supposed to be even hotter Sunday, so I went to a little surf shop and bought a brimmed hat because it was cooking.
Yeah, so those of you that are listening, Cameron was down in Miami for the Giants game.
Good fortune of being able to travel down there, but
didn't see the Giants win, but that's okay.
No, but I had a great time.
There you go.
It was cool. What neat was originally that, like, when that stadium was built and the old Giants stadium were the same, like the same architect, same constructed big helixes, like the circular staircases, but they've down there put huge, like, cantilevered roof over the seating area for shade.
Oh.
And outside, like, where you're inside the stadium, up on the third level, whatever, huge seating areas, like bump outs, if you will, for, room for 50 picnic tables and food kiosks around and TV monitors. Because if you're, we had to leave this, I had to leave, the South Floridians that are used to it were sitting there, but the sun was right on us.
Yes.
Your head starts swooning, you're like, I got to get out of this heat.
Well, you're not used to it,
cool.
sure.
So it was definitely designed, or they made those design changes, which was really cool. So we sat there for a little while where the sun moved a little bit, and then it was back under. It was just a corner where it came out,
Right, right.
Either way, it was fun. The, sand and water, beautiful down there. The palm trees is cool, novel, Like I said, I'd never really been to that part of Florida before. But,
so you had a good time.
Had a great time.
That's wonderful.
Some friends we went to see down there. Great, good host and hostess, and it was cool.
Nice.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. I am trying to think. Yeah, it was. It was. I had a wedding to go to, which was really nice. I up in Big Indian, and that's a beautiful ride. So on Saturday we were up in Big Indian, and we really enjoyed that. Half Moon Resort, beautiful area, overlooking the mountains, and you don't realize.
Up on, where the heck is that?
You take left, you go all the way up. Before Bel Air, though, after the Emerson, you take Oliveria Road. You make a left on Oliveria Road, and you take that for 5 miles.
Wow.
So you're. Yeah.
Oh, Half Moon. Is it right along the road?
Yes,
on
the right.
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
Yes. They've done a lot of work over there.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It was a dump years ago.
Oh, really?
Oh, really run
Yeah,
down.
now it's beautiful. And they actually have accommodations. We didn't stay, but which is really nice because
party,
a lot of people stayed, and obviously
that's a huge trend.
Yeah, it really is, and it's nice because it is a ride. You don't realize how large Ulster County is until you start to wander around the county.
Until you're an hour away from Kingston,
and you're still in Ulster County. Yeah. You're exactly right, Cameron. Yeah, so that was nice, and the Snowflake Festival was amazing.
Good turnout.
Went Friday night. Huge turnout.
Massive.
And
the buggies were successful.
They were, and the kids. Oh, the kids love Santa and Mrs. Claus, and they came on the fire truck and they did the tree lighting.
On our break, you have to tell me what Santa Claus looked like, if you know what I mean. In case there's any kids listening.
Yeah. I do. So it was great. So a great turnout too, and the stores and
weather worked out.
Weather was perfect. A little chilly.
I was basking in the heat.
Yeah, it was a little cold, but if you were bundled up properly and everything, it wasn't bad at all. And Ulster Savings Bank was Ulster County Italian American Foundation had coffee and hot chocolate set up
in the lobby.
The lobby there. So if you were
a lot of people in and out.
Yeah, really, and all the stores were giving treats out to the kids, and they did the bicycle giveaway. It was great. It was a wonderful community event.
I wonder how the elves or the Santa giveaway or the elves, right? They're giving out some the bank was giving out some special envelopes.
Yes. I don't know how that went.
I bet you that
but
was
I'm sure
fantastic.
that was good. I'm sure.
But you just standing there and somebody tapping you on the shoulder and said, "Hey, welcome. How are you, Kingston? On behalf of Ulster Savings, here's
a gift certificate.
$50 or whatever that. $10 doesn't matter what it is. It's free money.
It's free. It's
free.
Cool.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
That's a cool little touch, though, too.
Yes. And unfortunately, I did not get up to Sorgerties on Sunday, but I heard holiday in the village was really great, and they had a wonderful turnout.
Well,
and Ray Mayone did the horses and everything. Yeah, right.
Tune in tomorrow. We'll get a full
yes.
rundown from our Sorgerties hosts.
Yes, contingent. So, but yeah, I heard that was a great event
cool.
also.
Good.
So, busy weekend. and a fun weekend. And it's great to see everybody in the holiday spirit and enjoying, our community and embracing the whole holiday. So it's nice after a whole year of taking off from it, right?
I like the fact that Christmas and New Year are on weekends this year.
Oh, I love that.
It sort of gives you extra time, makes it feel longer or farther away between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah, plus it's so nice, like for our employees, for us, because when Christmas falls like in the middle of the week, you actually work on Tuesday. Christmas is Wednesday, and you're back to work on Thursday.
Yeah, unless you take
time off.
time,
Yeah, and
PTO,
unfortunately, you're limited, especially in public offices, the amount of people that you could give off. So it's nice. Everybody enjoys the holiday.
Was gracious enough to give us both Fridays off.
That's nice.
Yeah, so that's nice.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, we'll probably take it off anyways.
No, yeah, but
I have
still.
more vacation than literally I can.
Yeah, well,
use.
you have
But,
so much.
It's nice though. When
It
the
is,
boss,
it's
when
really
the
nice,
quote unquote
too.
boss gives you the day,
Yeah, definitely. So today is our history day, right?
Yep.
And we have Bill Merchant at 7:30, and Nancy Shando is coming in with Taylor Brook.
Yeah.
Taylor,
Talking about something I hate to say, but kind of slipped my mind because I've been so busy this last few days. That tomorrow, anniversary of D-Day.
yes,
Or not D, Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor, yes.
And Nancy is going to be talking about a man from Kingston who lost his life, and
Yes.
Some of the details around that. So that should
Yeah.
be pretty interesting.
Yes, very much so. Matter of fact,
And who's between them?
we're gonna feel
stuck.
terrible.
Yeah,
I
know.
want
We're
to say
terrible
Carl
hosts.
Brown, but am I
We're terrible
right?
hosts, we are.
I'm
Right
gonna take
now.
a guess
The
here.
only people that know I'm doing this are watching on
Yes,
TV.
that's right. I'm gonna say Carl Brown is here at 8.
Oh, Heidi's supposed to be here at 7:30.
Okay.
Then Bill, then Ulster County History.
Oh, Heidi. Okay.
Heidi, where's
Heidi.
Heidi's at 7:30.
Heidi's at 7:30. So we'll see how, then Bill and then okay, and then Nancy Shando.
Yes, right.
So we have a full show. We're excited about that, and we love our history
Yep.
day. So that's positive too. And exciting news with Tech City.
Yeah,
and
I saw. I had three final figures. I go away for 4 days, and my paper comes every day. I'm away. Normally, I don't get my paper for like days on end, and all of them came. So they're all sitting on a. So I glanced through them. Yeah, a couple things. Tech City was one I was hoping to hear about. What happened with that? What's going on?
Yeah, so it looks like the legislature passed the resolution that needed to be passed to accept the properties back, so that they can now deed them over to natural resources.
Yep.
So that's a national resources, so that's a great thing. And the county exec's going to do an informational presentation tomorrow out at Tech City in regard to what steps need to be taken and what's happening and so forth. So that's really exciting.
And then something else I saw, they agreed to get rid of the piles of contaminated debris.
Yes, so the $7 million cleanup will be absorbed by them. They will do all of the cleanup,
That's the first
following the DEP. Yes.
Nothing can happen with that because when the
So-
federal government says stop, or the DEP
Yeah.
knows, when they say stop, clean it up. Ain't nothing happen. He ain't restarting until it's cleaned up. So.
Right, exactly.
Good.
Yes,
It'd be
yes,
to
so,
see, hopefully in our lifetime, we'll see something happen out
Yes,
there.
that would be nice.
If
That
it's
would be
the
nice,
obstruction.
Cameron.
Oh, and another good piece of news. I saw that another Neil Bender lawsuit was dismissed.
Yes.
Further obstructionism. Good news.
Yes, yeah.
Bad news. I guess the numbers of COVID are creeping up a little bit. And
Yeah, we're up
did you guys
to.
just put a mask mandate? Or the county put a mask mandate in for staff or anything I saw?
So
or
we have a mask mandate.
declared
It's been
emergency or something.
yeah. So we have a mask mandate that's been in effect in the county office building or any county building since August. But what the director of health, Dr. Carol Smith, came out with just this week is that she is mandating that everyone should wear masks whenever you are indoors anywhere. So whether it's in a grocery store, public areas, no matter where you are, you should wear your mask at all times. So we're up to I believe 965 positive cases right now. Yeah, it's going up and. Not a good sign. So, we remind everybody the pods are open on Wednesdays and Fridays for boosters, vaccines. They do pediatric ones Friday afternoons from 3 to 7, I believe, and
And
on
you-
Saturdays.
And you can get reservations for that, or
Yes, go
those-
right on Department
Appointments, I guess, is more.
appointments. Yeah, Ulster County Department of Health website. You can sign up. There's plenty of appointments. They will do walk-ins based on the volume of people there, but I suggest get an appointment. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
sign up
Why
for
go wait in line and risk not getting it.
right, and you can sign up for whichever one you want: Pfizer, Moderna, or J&J, as far as the booster or the vaccine. So, and then all your paperwork is done prior to getting there, so which makes it go that much quicker. So, yeah, they were very busy on Friday. I know. In the morning, in the beginning, it was like an hour wait, but then it started to move along, and it wasn't quite as bad. So, yeah, please get your vaccines. Please get your boosters. Those numbers are going up. In Dutchess County, they're over 1,000 now.
Yeah, we don't want
yeah.
another lockdown.
No,
or more sweeping measures. So
Right, and I see in New York City, Mayor de Blasio is doing a mandate where every employer must ensure after December 27th that all of their employees are vaccinated. So I don't know how you do that in the private industry or how he's going to monitor that. But then he's out December 31st, so I guess it'll be Mayor Adams'
yeah, yep.
issue at that point. So
Well,
we'll
I
see.
didn't really pay attention to
New York City,
politics. You see, you can't help it if you're watching NBC News or whatever. But
yes.
Eric Adams, I thought he was a Democrat, but then I've heard a couple of his news conferences, and I didn't realize he was a retired captain, police, NYPD police
Yes.
captain,
Yes.
and he has himself said, "I'm not a Republican, I'm a Democrat, I'm a candidate, I'm a New Yorker, and I want a better city or whatever." But some of his stances, we have to tighten up bail reform, and I want more patrols on the street. I mean, he was talking some things that I enjoyed hearing, not. I don't want to say, left-wing politics, whatever, but what normally you wouldn't hear a Democratic New York City mayoral candidate say in terms of, he sounded like an old, hard-nosed guy from the 50s or something like that.
Yeah, I think he won because of the conservative positions
I get,
he has
but
on
you
most
see, you
things.
say conservative, people are like, oh, Republican. But,
No, it's not.
I
conservative
like what he's
Democrat.
saying.
Yeah.
And,
He's reflecting what most of Americans, most of New Yorkers feel, and that's that
but you're
middle
afraid
road
to
where
say
you want a
because-
balance
yeah.
and you want,
everyone's afraid to say anything
So,
anymore because you get labeled whatever. You get labels on both ends.
Right.
But and then I've had quite a layover in the airport, so I read the Post and the Daily News.
Oh yeah,
It's kind of a mixed bag right there.
It is,
between those
it
two
is.
papers.
Absolutely.
And the other night they did a homelessness survey on, in the street, 1,647 estimated, people slept in the subway.
I know.
Overnight, 4 nights ago, the most recent survey data. And, the crime rate's shooting up, and shootings, and drive-bys, and walk-bys. It's like, man, it's getting to be like it was way back when.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
So
hopefully, when
tough,
he comes in,
some tough
things will change and the city will become safe once again. Everybody has a right to live in a safe environment.
Yeah.
And not fear for your life when you walk out your front door. So.
And whatever. I don't want to get too deep into politics. We're a happy show. We're not
Right, we're a terrific Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
So, which is very, very true.
But my son is after never really expressing much interest in snow sports, which was kind of good because very expensive.
They are.
And whatever. But he's like, I want to learn how to snowboard. So him and his buddy Joe, won't say his last name, but they're getting stuff. They're going up Saturday to Bel Air. They're trying their hand down the mountains.
So my son's coming home for the weekend, and he's doing the exact same thing. He's going snowboarding
That's
up in
cool.
Bel Air this
I'll
weekend.
say, Ben,
so.
look for
I don't know
tall,
how
skinny guys.
how many trails are open. Do you know?
Probably just a couple.
Okay.
Right down the middle where they got the snowmaking and.
All right.
I mean, I'm sure they're blowing snow like crazy last night. Yesterday was warm, but as soon as it gets below freezing, I'm sure they're blowing snow up there. So.
Yeah, so hopefully they'll have a couple trails. Yeah.
I know a friend of mine has been at the Hunter a couple times, and they're getting more and more open.
Yeah, and I know in the past with COVID, the ski slopes were open, but it was a little bit of
Yeah,
a disaster with the lifts.
Couldn't go in a lodge. You had to get dressed in the parking lot.
Right, and the lifts you couldn't mix people on the lifts
your
and so
own,
forth.
like immediate group.
You can only go on the lift together, and
which
yeah.
slowed things
I don't
down.
know if this year if there's those kind of restrictions.
I don't know.
We'll find out on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
That's for sure.
It seems late this year, but it really isn't. It's still first week of December.
I know. Yeah. But I do agree with you when you said, because I think Thanksgiving was a little earlier, so it seems like there's a little bit more time in between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
How about out
so it's not
west?
going too fast.
No snow out west.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Utah, it's not snowing. I didn't know this until I caught a glimpse of the news the other day in the hotel. I don't even know where the heck the news was from, but and then the wildfires out there in Montana and Wyoming. Crazy.
I know.
Tinder dry. It's the grass is just crumbly and it burns so fast.
Yeah, we've been lucky, right? Because you've been monitoring the rainfall, right?
Yep.
You have all year, Cameron, and we're
keep our
above our average right now, right?
Water's scarce. Water someday on our planet, fresh water, drinking water is going to be the most important, important commodity there is. Gold, silver. Doesn't matter what, so much of our groundwater is being contaminated.
Yes.
Inadvertently, where did I just see some city, like the whole town's wells around here, PFSO, that firefighting chemical.
Okay.
Used the same thing that was in Newburgh, the one reservoir in Newburgh. Where the heck was it? Like the whole city, thousands of people. Now we're like, oops. Now what do we do? And
right.
Oh, it was up in Maine. And, that's right. That's what it was. I was in USA Today. Some guy was hunting, and, this county in Maine, over the summer said, residents don't drink water, the whole county, the whole aquifer is polluted, PFSOs. Okay, dang, that stinks. And then it finds out this guy shot a deer and had it, tissue sample, went to this Maine University of Maine, veterinary hospital, whatever, or some authority lab or whatever, and that stuff was in the venison, in the meat, of the deer, contaminated with PFSO stuff.
Oh, that's horrible.
So it's like, oh my gosh, and I guess it was the volunteer firefighting company, whatever, had tanks of firefighting chemicals or whatever, and I imagine it's like being out in Ruby or Accord, or, rural areas. It's a tiny county up in rural Maine, 60,000 people in the whole county. And the fire department tank leaked or something. They didn't know about it, oops. And
that's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. But the fact that it's in the animals.
Yes.
Crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I know. That's why there's Britas and there's all,
drinking water. So when rain falls out of the sky, it's pretty darn clean of chemicals. I mean, there's some in there, but after evaporation and all that. So we drink surface water, Cooper Lake, New York City, Shokin, So we need it falling out of the sky.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So thank goodness we have at least here in the Northeast.
The Northeast drinking water.
We even give it away.
That's right. Yeah.
Give it to the city.
Yeah. It's for a quick.
It's our water.
They're fixing the New York City water pipes, the aquifers. Shutting off sections. That's like a 30-year project to get them all fixed. Buddy of mine's an engineer, geological engineer, works for a firm, and down in Cold Spring or something, for years this guy had a piece of property he thought it was a spring, and. I should bottle it. Whatever. Poland Spring, all these big, huge companies, and started. Went to the town, and I guess zoning wise, you could bottle it and sell it. A couple trucks a day, or went through all these things and permits and everything, and I guess they went to do it, and the New York City guys happened to do something, whatever, and they realized it was a leak. The aquifer went, the pipe or aqueduct. This guy owned a big chunk of property, far away, and it somehow seeped under the ground through a rock fissure or something. It was bubbling up, half a mile away or something.
Yeah, on some of the Ashokan Reservoir, there are these walls. They're the barrier walls, so that it can be deeper.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it might be one of those walls that.
Who knows?
That
But
leaked. Yeah, okay.
And down there, it's pretty rocky, like Cold Spring, or it's on the other side of the river, not Cold Spring, wherever it was in Westchester County. But they were like, "Sorry, buddy, you can't profit on our water." Yes, it's a leak. Yes, it's flushing through your property, but you can't make money on our water.
Right.
Sorry.
Too bad.
Yeah, so
Good
it's
thought,
kinda-
but not happening.
Oops. Yeah.
So, Cameron, I have to ask you: is it Monday night? Is this coming Monday night?
Yes,
An Elks dinner.
Drive-through December dinner, a week delayed because I was in sunny FLA. But this coming Monday, chili, corn muffin, little side salad, little garden salad, and dessert.
Great meal for a
Yeah,
cold
and I'm making
December night.
The award-winning chili chef that I am. I have a trophy to prove it. I'll bring it. In fact, no one believes me.
All right, it'll
Don't
be
believe
on
me.
display next
Make a
Monday night when you
reservation.
pick
That's
up
right,
your chili.
781-0572.
Is that 781?
781-0572, which I have to
572.
confirm because if Paul is listening, she will correct me. But yeah, distribution starts at 5, and another good reason is to come see this fabulous porch that we are in the process of building. So come on next Monday between 5 and 7, but hopefully closer to 5, not 7.
And you don't have to get out of your car. Am I
No, we
correct?
walk it right out to you.
There you go. How great is that?
481. I was our 481-0752 for the Elks drive-through dinner this Monday. My award-winning chili, and yes, to Fixin'. So come on down.
That's great. And what time? Between 5 and 6?
Yep, between 5 and 7, but hopefully closer to 5 because after cooking all day and being around.
Yeah, you're ready by 6
Ready to
o'clock, right?
head
yeah.
on out, yes.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. Yeah, so, and what a deal for $10.
Can't beat it.
So make your reservations.
Call today, 481-0752.
And you'll be...
do we have a caller? Oh, I believe we have a caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Cam. Good morning, Nina.
Good morning.
Quick question, Nina. Any idea when the poll workers are going to get paid for working election day and the 10 days early voting?
I don't know, but I would think that should be shortly. Did you talk to them over at the Board of Elections?
No, I didn't. I figured, let me try you first.
I had to be honest. I don't know. Yeah.
Less call volume on this number.
Yeah, right.
Right, because it's been 4 weeks and stuff since we worked and all, and with the new electronics, they say it was supposed to be done faster. And I figured the county probably went through at least two pay cycles since Election Day as it was.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that's a true statement. We have gone through 2 pay cycles.
Well, I'd fire off an angry email or two.
Well, I would
satisfaction.
Not to argue with Cameron. I would, before I do any angry emails, I would reach out to Board of Elections.
Satisfaction.
But George, if you cannot find out, just reach out to me at the office and I'll find out for you.
Okay, no problem. I'm going to be busy most of today. We got the Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day down in Newburgh, down by the waterfront, where the Catholic war veterans, a couple other groups that could be putting wreaths and stuff in the Hudson River in memory of all the people who passed away on this date back in 1941 at Pearl Harbor.
Yes, yes. Where is that being done, George?
What?
Where is that being done?
Down at the Newburgh waterfront.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ceremony kicks off at 11 o'clock, so it's going to be cold and breezy down by that river.
Are you going down as part of the VFW?
I'll be going down as part of the Catholic War Veterans of New Windsor.
Oh, okay, great.
Because I'm with the Catholic War Veterans down there. I'm with the VFW down there. I'm with the American Legion up here. I don't have much to do.
Yeah. Do they ever do?
Hey, thank you guys.
Hold, quick question, George.
Great show so far. Keep up the good work.
Hold on.
I'll be listening till I leave.
All right, hold on. Super quick question. Do they ever do anything at the Purple Heart in New Windsor? The Purple Heart?
Yes, that is totally redone and stuff, and it is back open again.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's amazing that is here. You know?
I know.
There's a little tiff going on with them because they had a veterans group of Purple Heart veterans that came up and they charged them admission.
Ooh. That could cause a problem.
They went through the state senator down there, And I guess he's going to be livid about what went on. So that should be corrected down the road.
Oh, absolutely. They should
It is
get
back open. It's beautiful. I advise everybody to go down and see it. It's right there off, I believe it's 207.
Yes.
And, hey, it's all kinds of interesting artifacts.
I bet. Yeah, that's cool.
There's a Bible in there from a radio operator that was for the Army general that was in charge of the Philippines. I can't think of his
MacArthur.
name right now.
MacArthur? I shall return.
He was MacArthur's radio operator, and his Bible that his mother gave him is down there also. And he was a Purple Heart recipient.
Wow.
But
right in our backyard. Right in our backyard.
And it's ready to go. So I know you guys going to break. Have a great day.
All right, George.
Hey,
Thank
you.
you.
Too, George. Take care.
All right. All right, Dan. Why don't you take us to break?
Away.
Thank you. Cameron Rylance, Nina Postjapak, and you are with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio at 7:30 a.m. this Tuesday, December 7th, and 34 degrees right now here in Uptown Kingston. And we'll be right back after these messages.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your fun?
Do flowers have best friends?
I don't know. Hey, look.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Your daughter doesn't want to talk about why her room is a horrible mess. Your son doesn't want to talk about why he's wearing mismatching socks. Your spouse doesn't want to talk about their bad haircut. Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk to plan for an emergency. Pack basic supplies in a go bag: water, canned food, flashlights, batteries, medical supplies, IDs, and some cash. Talk about where you'll meet in case you lose one another. And of course, don't forget to pack the dog treats. Talk to your family and make an emergency plan. Go to nyc.gov/readyny or call 311 to make your family's emergency plan. Brought to you by New York City Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
This is Nina Postjapak. Once again, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund is asking you to help the needy this holiday season. For the last 50 years, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund has helped less fortunate families have a happier holiday. Look for our collection boxes at the local branches of the Ulster Federal Credit Union, Roundout Savings Bank, the Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, Ulster Savings Bank, and at Cantine Field and Saugerties. Thank you and have a happy Christmas.
And we're back. You are listening to WGHQ AM 920 and 92.5 FM. This portion of Kingston Community Radio is being brought to you by Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, 1099 Morton Boulevard in Kingston, their main office. And a little bit about the weather and forecast for the next 3 days. We've got partly cloudy today with a high around 40 degrees. And tonight, cloudy skies with a few flurries possible, low of 28. And Wednesday, overcast with a few flurries or snow showers possible for Wednesday. And Wednesday night, mostly cloudy early, then clearing later on. And for Thursday, some sun in the morning with increasing clouds during the afternoon with a high of 37. And Thursday night, mostly cloudy skies with a low of 27. And about 20% chance of some precipitation during Thursday. Okay, let's get back to the on-air studio with Cameron Rylance, Nina Postjapak, and Heidi Kirshner, too. Bye.
And we're back.
We are back.
It is the bottom of the hour, and we are here with Heidi Kirshner, the Executive Director of our YMCA.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Kingston. I'm well, thank you.
That's good.
I'm well. I'm looking forward to a little snow tomorrow to make it a little festive. Not so much that it makes it, unbearable to get around or whatever the case.
Thank you for clarifying that, because I was about to say I have two words for that. Bah humbug.
Yeah.
It's just a little pretty snow. I don't want to shovel yet.
Yeah. So I hear you, because that's but to kind of make it a little festive and bring out the
holiday season's upon us.
Yeah.
Quickly.
But I have to say, I'm very surprised. Most people have been so pleasant out and about. It's just.
That's wonderful to hear.
Yeah. Patience seems to be out there, and
maybe the spirit of the season is
something
is contagious or something.
Something, I don't know, but
putting tranquilizers in the coffee or something.
I don't know. Maybe they're getting more exercise.
Yeah, that's it. And I know a place they can do that, right?
Yes.
Right on Broadway here in the
Convenient.
beautifully retooled intersection and the lovely esplanade that Pine Grove Avenue has become.
Yes.
One beautiful anchor, and the other end is a lovely historical cemetery.
I know.
The new green space in front, which I really like. Was it the Millard Building?
Yeah.
That triangle.
It's going to be
green
pretty.
space.
Yeah, and there's plans for that as
I
well.
bet,
The
I
city
bet.
has plans, and
It'd be nice if the businesses along Broadway sort of, quote unquote, adopt the plantings in front of their
they might.
establishments to, keep them nice and enhance and
Yeah,
improve.
yeah,
That'd be nice.
that'd be great. And I know that there's, the space is great. And it's. I think that the plan is to put some tables in there so you can visit those establishments and then just go sit and have lunch. So nice.
That'd be a nice
Yes,
idea.
really
Yeah.
nice.
Chess tables.
Yes.
I know.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. They had those down, didn't they?
Downtown,
at TR?
yeah.
Oh no, down at and that was.
Gallo Park, yeah.
Yeah, and then
They're
I
great.
know Emily with Live Well, Play Well Kingston. I'm loosely on that committee. She went ahead and got a grant to cover that.
Spearheaded that?
Yeah,
Oh, they're great. I mean, 2 times I've been in Gallo Park walking around in the last year or two. I've seen people there playing chess.
yeah, so that would be another fun
That'd
thing
be great.
to do or figure out for
Bike
those
rack,
areas.
please, a bike rack, or something to
There
lock
will
the
be
bikes up on.
there will be bike racks. You just can't. Not on you're on basically blocks away from the green line. You can't not have bike racks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's perfect because there's a lot of bike paths that intersect there, in addition to the one that's coming up Broadway. So yeah,
Now, the newly lengthened walkway that goes from the plaza.
Oh, is it? Have you?
How close to the Y is that coming?
Oh, it's right. I mean, you go, but you.
Field Court? Does it go that far?
Well, you come up around the Cornell, the rail building and everything, so you're blocks away. But then you have the green line that comes up by Roundout, so you're on basically city streets for a couple of blocks. But it's safe.
Connected, yeah.
And I am telling you, it's a fantastic ride. And it's just so pretty. And I mean, I like being off the streets, so you can really enjoy the bike ride and see, around you. And every year a little bit more is done. And I can tell you, I have this vision of what it's going to be like in 5 years. And it's going to be beautiful.
That stretch from Rondout Savings down to
Yeah.
Copy. That is so cool. Just I'd like to imagine on a train, the engineer, you'd be eye level with some of those houses, and hey Bill, hey, reach out and hand him a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Maybe it was a pain when it was active, but
Right.
I think it's neat.
It's really quite nice. And when you think that you can, on a bike trail, you can go from all the way downtown and basically not have to go on Broadway, because it can be very daunting. And I mean, you have to have all your sensories on, whereas this, you can kind of enjoy your bike ride, and you can go down, you can do your shopping, grocery shopping, your, any pharmacy kind of things you need, or any other kind of shopping. It's a great thing. And then plus all the things in between. All the little restaurants and stuff on Broadway.
Yep.
You've got banks. It's
connecting everything.
It's quite nice, and every year a little bit more is done, and it's going to be charming, absolutely charming, and people are going to want to live in the area of that rail trail.
I absolutely believe that. I would absolutely believe
And
that.
because it's just so it's just it's beautiful.
Yeah, and if, like you said, if long term, it'll help the buildings and stuff along that. Because that cuts through part of Midtown that could use some, revitalization.
Yeah, in
that block or two off Broadway.
It's happening.
It is happening.
You see what's happening, and you with the food co-op, and then the big bubble with the transformation that's going there. It's really nice. It's really, really nice, And so, I mean, we're trying to, keep up with it and be there. And so, it's exciting for us to see these changes going around. And, we just want to be be part of it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So now that the weather's turning and
Yeah.
maybe a little less biking, a little more indoor, what's going on this winter at the at our Y?
Well, it's a great time to be at the
Is that a
Y.
good segue or what?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
It's a good time. We took down our outdoor canopies, so we're preparation of snow, so we won't be doing outdoor classes anymore. But we're utilizing the den quite a bit because it's spacious, so we can spread out. So we still have our cycle. Took a nice cycle class yesterday. Got rid of all those toxins from the weekend.
Yes.
And then, so it's quite nice. You're spread out. It works out well. And then there's all of our other classes. We have our pool that is in full gear. We have our volleyball going on Thursday nights.
Speaking of pool, swim team?
Oh, yes.
Has that started already?
Swim team started in September, and it
Oh,
goes from
gosh, okay.
September through July. And so it's a good swim team. But I mean, you have kids who come, who are part of it, but also swim on their school teams. So they'll come on and
go a little
yeah,
bit?
absolutely.
And anyone's always welcome to.
Oh yeah, and even after, if in
Try it out.
January, if you might be just moving into this area and you're like, I'd like to try a swim team, give us a call because we're very open to it. You're not going to pay full price in January, but it's really really nice. We have a lot of great young kids. Our coaches are great. Our older swimmers, they're really learning about, leadership and guiding the younger kids and helping them out. That's part of the team culture. You're not there to make fun of them. You're there to help them. I mean, it'd be very easy to, because they're little kids and they do silly things, but it's much nicer when, it's a big team helping each other. So, which is exciting. And then, we have our swim meets. We're doing swim meets at home and away. We've got a swim meet away this weekend in Ithaca.
Oh, that's a ride.
Yeah, but it's fun. I mean, we haven't done one in over 2 years.
Wow.
Oh, this is the
That'd be
first one.
exciting. Kids,
Oh,
wow,
away.
kids that is their
Yeah.
first away meet. That's
Yeah.
exciting.
I mean, we've done day trip aways, but we haven't done because we typically choose one meet a year to go away and make it like you give it that experience for the kids.
Overnight.
And where I think this league, I think this particular meet has your events and then it has its finals, so you swim in it, and if you are lucky enough, then you have finals later at the end of the event or later in the day. So it kind of gives them a real feel of what, if you're into swimming, that's what it's going to be like. So
Do you have buses? How do you handle the transportation?
parents travel.
Parents okay,
will
great.
go. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this is a family event, which makes it a little difficult because if there's some who can't because parents might work, it's hard because you really can't transport another child. A family could do a family, but when you're talking about coaches or anyone involved with the Y, I can't say, hey, I'll take your child, because
The liability involved and everything else.
because of the safety issues that could happen. So, but typically the families do work together as best as possible, and because we have all kinds on our swim team. We have such a diverse swim team. I am just tickled, and it's just so nice to see it.
How many swimmers are going?
To the meet, I don't know that final statistic, but we do have close to 80-something on our swim team.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa. And it's awesome. It's
a lot.
absolutely awesome.
From 6 and under to
We have
16 and under, or
we have
8 and under, or wherever that youngest.
basically you could go primarily first grade. I think there's been exceptional kindergartners, but 6th grade through high school.
So that's like 6, right?
6 to like maybe 17 or 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the meets are, you can do that. Like 18 and under is not a problem, so, but it's great. It's just a lot of fun, and the kids are great. And we have a fantastic team. I really enjoy it,
That's great.
And so, and we do have, swimming. One of our initiatives this year, and you're going to start seeing us up and around, is that we're really going to be going into water safety more and getting out into the community.
Very important.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to ask you a question about that. We have a caller.
Oh, okay.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, folks. It's Tony Marmo. How are you all?
Good morning, Tony.
How's it going?
Good, thank you.
I have two thoughts for our great YMCA. One is both on the somewhat donation side. Since it's coming up to the year end, it's a great time to contribute to the Y, which is a 501c3 not-for-profit. And if you're looking to help a charity out, the Y would be a good one. I know, Heidi, we participated in the Giving Tuesday, but I have another thought. My son and daughter-in-law live in Huntington, Long Island, and for a Christmas present this year, I bought them, they have a 2-year-old, Isla. I bought them a family membership at the Y in Huntington.
Perfect.
So it's a great gift. It's maybe a little pricey. It's pricier down there than it is up here. But
yeah.
They don't need any more stuff, So what they do need is to stay healthy and active, and with the 2-year-old. And so my son plays basketball, and so I thought, this would be a great gift. And I called the Y there, and they were very accommodating. And so now the Marmos in Huntington have a Y family membership as a Christmas gift.
Tony, that's awesome. And the other thing that makes it so special is if they come up here on a weekend or something to visit you, they have full access to our YMCA.
Yes, that's a good thought. I forgot that, Heidi.
So if they want to go and do the family swim, or if there's like a family event going on that weekend or something, they want to, just want to come in and tool around a little bit in the gym with some balls with their 2-year-old or whatever. It's open to them to come and participate at no fee. So it's
great. So I just wanted to share those two thoughts, Cam and Nina. One is donate to the Y if you can. And secondly, take a family membership as a Christmas gift.
That's a great.
How about that? Or a single membership.
Yeah, great gift idea. Awesome.
Right?
All right.
Everybody's got enough sweaters and, V-neck shirts and all that stuff.
This is true.
We don't need any more of that stuff.
That's
all right, folks, all the best. I just wanted to call in with that quick thought.
I'm glad you did, Tony. Thank you for calling.
Thank you, Tony.
Great to hear from you,
Thanks
man.
so much. Keep up the great work.
All right.
Bye.
We're trying.
Bye.
Yep.
Thanks.
That's great. So is that a reciprocity thing? Is that all Ys or just your Y? Our Y?
Well, not all Ys participate, but we participate.
Wow, that's cool.
That is a great
Well,
thing.
hold on, and I like it too because I travel. I'm going down to Austin for the holidays. I need my spin class. I need my swim. I need my,
Get out of the house. I mean, you need your classes.
So within a half a mile is a YMCA with a pool.
So that's great.
I'm there. So it just works out really nice. The other thing is I can't stress enough, and studies are showing this time and time again, that exercise and meditation, which we have yoga and Tai Chi and all of those things, they help rebuild your brain. Now, maybe you a lot of people say, oh, you can't rebuild brain cells, but you can replace them. And so exercise, sleep, meditation, again and again, they're proving that this helps your brain. And even if you have damage because of whatever it might be, maybe you haven't been eating healthy, maybe you haven't been sleeping the way you should, maybe you've smoked in the past or whatever. But exercise is a key to that. O2 to your brain, sweating, believe it or not, mindfulness with what you do, they help give you brain health. And that combats a lot of diseases that you get when you're aging. And studies are showing more and more and more and more how important it is to, remain active.
If you can maintain cognitive function longer.
Yeah.
Right, yes.
And a lot of that is, different parts of your brain, and stuff happens to you in life that affect different parts of your brain, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a concussion. It could be a subcussion, which means, you've just jarred your brain and you don't know it, and there's damage there. And those things don't necessarily show up on, CT scans or MRI, but they're there.
It's cumulative.
Yeah. And
it's cumulative.
Each time it happens. So that's why exercise is key. And then having it to do with other people makes it even better. So that's what we try to encourage at the Y. In addition, we're trying to bring all these other kinds of activities that are interesting for families and people that they would want to participate in.
I had said I wanted to ask you something. We touched the water safety. You had some things coming up.
Yes.
And Tony said with his 2-year-old, you can never be too young to learn
to swim.
Be
survive
safe.
in the
Exactly.
water.
Yeah.
So our big thing, our push, and we are working with the school district this year to provide swim lessons to children in the Kingston City School District. But in addition to that, you can teach being safe around water on dry land. So you're going to see the YMCA, hitting a lot of other organizations. We're going to work with Dan Whalen to come up with some dates to go to the Boys and Girls Club. We've been very sad because we had Chris Bomba we lost in our community. If his friends knew water safety, not swimming, water safety, they may have been able to save him. And we don't want this to happen again. I don't want it to happen ever.
Anywhere.
Anywhere, for anyone. So we'll be taken to the road. We're going to be doing road shows. We hope to, Boys and Girls Club Library, Hodge Center, African Roots Roundout Center. I'll be calling churches and say, hey, when you get together after services, can I just come and talk to your people? It doesn't take a lot. In 30 minutes, you can learn some very key skills as a family, how to protect each other and how to be safe around water. And then
will you be giving those and speak? Oh, great!
I can. This past year, I intentionally got my WSI so I could say I have the certs to do such things. And the Y is also. More importantly, we have a large population of young people, all kinds, very diverse, that we're hoping to get that certification as well, so they can go out into the community and talk to their peers.
Kids talk to yes,
and really, make a difference. And so it's everyone, it's everyone. And I'm looking forward to it. This is what the Y does. This is what we need to share and impart with our community. And wherever we can do it, we want to do it, whether it's at churches, any other places. It is our
fantastic.
Our plan to do.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of folks who have said, let me know, I'll help with it. And, probably our biggest thing right now is I want to be able to do this in Spanish. My Spanish is not that good. So I'll be seeking someone who can, help give the course with me in Spanish. So, but it's critical, and this is just the start, and you have to do this again and again and again and again. But we'll also be doing stuff at the Y. And then when you start seeing families getting comfortable with the idea of being around water, and keep in mind, this is generational. When you go back, 50 years or whatever, not everyone was allowed to have access to swimming pools. Not everyone. Some were blocked, and intentionally. And those that carries through the family. The fear of water goes generation to generation, and so
it's unfamiliar.
They just don't. They don't trust it, or a bad experience happens. So we have to change that. We have to change it. And once you start getting to that point where families, parents, are comfortable around water, then they'll start allowing their kids to be doing more things in water. And let's face it, Kingston is a water town. There's a lot of things that we do on the water, and it's not fair, nor is it safe that, contingents of our population don't have that access. That's a barrier, and we shouldn't be doing that. We have to have this.
Take the barriers down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trying to do. So.
Yep. So it's we have a lot of opportunity, but we are so looking forward to this because this is what we do. This is what we know, and we want to just share. And we're creating a young army of youngsters who can do this, and when they get going and doing it, it's going to be so awesome to see this, helping their peers.
It was a really, really intriguing. WSI must be water safety instructor.
Yes.
Okay, and how does one sign up, become a water safety instructor, get certified? How would somebody do that?
So we do offer classes periodically throughout the year at the YMCA. I might suggest that if you are truly interested in doing it, it's a long course. It doesn't happen quickly. It's like a 10-week course. And there's, you have to write curriculum, you have to do swim tests, you have to know how to do your strokes so that you can teach. It's not like competition style, it's effective swimming, and then you have to study and there's a test that you have to pass. But I would suggest just calling the Y, 845-338-3810, talk to Naisha, and she can put you on her list so that when we get ready to offer a class, she can contact you and give you the times, and perhaps it might work in your schedule. So, but it's good.
Yeah, it might be a lot of high school and college age people
I
that
was
could
going
do
to say
that.
life-saving classes. Have they started up again? Because last summer, boy, if you were a lifeguard search, you could have worked anywhere in town.
The hard part is that, and it's really difficult, that being a lifeguard, most people say, oh, look at, he's getting a tan, he's there. But being a lifeguard, you have to be on your toes. And there's a lot of responsibility. And if anything should happen at the facility, your go-to person is that lifeguard. Unfortunately, lifeguards aren't paid as much as you get paid as if you work at...
Commensurately, yes.
And, so you have a lot of very smart college kids or whatever, and like, why would I take on that responsibility and do this when I can work here and make so much more money?
Right.
So that's the hard part. But it is a good job. You learn, and I have to say, if someone comes to me and I see that they've been a lifeguard, sometime in their past, I know the responsibility level that they've had, and it speaks volumes. And so, for kids, for young adults, it's good to learn that level of responsibility, because it kind of gets ingrained in you in an early age, and you start to just keep your eyes and ears open differently. But it's a good time to look at it. People are always calling us looking for lifeguards, especially at summer camp time. And now's the time to think about it, not in April or May when you're looking to try and find that job. But it truly is a great skill to have.
And also, we encourage people that are listening, if they have an organization that they feel would be beneficial for them to have you do a water safety.
I would love to. We just, and it doesn't take long, a half an hour. That's it.
Call the Y, reach out to Heidi.
Or Naisha, my aquatics director. We're partners in crime, and we make it fun. I mean, you learn all the basics of, being around water, what's safe, what's not safe. You learn about your personal flotation devices. We try to make it really fun. And for the kids to, for kids and parents to learn, and, what to look for, what not to do around water. Really basics. But it's just a reminder.
And then improvised flotation device.
Yeah, right.
Throw
the empty milk jug in the water, there's little things like that.
All sorts of stuff you can do,
And one other thing, just talking a little bit about what Tony brought up.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to get a family membership or a membership for their child or so forth, just tell us how we could do that.
There's
and the cost involved and so forth.
You just call the YMCA, 845-338-3810. Tell them what you would like to do. You do not have to pay. Tony was extremely generous to his family to get them a family membership. But you can buy a gift certificate for a class. You can buy a day pass gift certificate. You can buy a month gift certificate. We have a lot of grandparents who buy camp sessions for their kids. So our camp is open right now. You can register, and we have a lot of grandparents that purchase camp sessions for their grandchildren.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
So or childcare, grandparents.
That's more of a present for the parents.
Yeah, it is.
The kids realize it when they get to, so like Tony said, how much stuff can you have? Or it's a wonderful thing to donate to a child that maybe you don't know, and say, I would like to send a child to camp. And think about it. It's a wonderful idea. there's a lot to things that you can do, even for membership for kids. You want to have a young kid have a membership.
Yeah,
you can offer
absolutely.
it. So there's all different ways that we'll be more than happy to oblige and help figure out what works best for you.
Great. And you can go on the website, I'm sure.
You can go on the website. There's lots of information there, and you can, if it's $5, if it's $10, Tony's kids are getting a really nice present.
All right, well, we got to go.
All right. Oh, my goodness.
And hi, thank you so much.
You are welcome. Thank
Hope you
you.
have a wonderful holiday season.
Yes.
And you said you're traveling, so be
yes,
careful.
Thank you.
Well.
Thank you. And, yes, everyone, enjoy this time of year. And everyone, keep staying. You've been all very nice to everyone. I like that.
Well, it's cool.
Yes, so we have to keep that up. That's right.
The sun is shining. So, all right.
All right, thanks so much.
We'll be back with Bill Merchant, who will be joining us on the phone. So, then we got birthdays. All right, Dan, take it away.
Thank you. Heidi Kirshner from the YMCA, Ulster County YMCA, and, of course, Nina Poshpak, Cameron Rylands. For a terrific Tuesday, KCR is Kingston Community Radio, WGHQ, AM 920, 92.5 FM, and streaming online at mykcr.org. 8 o'clock a.m. right now, Tuesday, December 7th, and 34 degrees here in uptown Kingston. This last portion of Kingston Community Radio was brought to you by Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, 1099 Morton Boulevard in Kingston. We'll be right back after these messages.
What grows in the forest? Our imagination and our family bonds. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council. Look through your children's eyes, and you will discover the true magic of a forest.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
Hi, my name's Maggie. I'm from Copiague, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This upcoming portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Robert Baum Commercial Realty, located at 79 St. James Street, Kingston, New York. Visit rgbaum.com for more information. Weather and forecast for Kingston and the surrounding area. Mostly cloudy today, partly to mostly cloudy today, and a high around 40 degrees. Cloudy skies tonight with a few flurries or snow showers possible, a low of 28. And overcast with a few possible flurries again Wednesday during the day, a high of 38, and Wednesday night, mostly cloudy early, then clearing later on, and it's a low of 26 on Wednesday. Thursday, some sun in the morning, a little bit more cloudy in the afternoon, a high of 37, and Thursday night, mostly cloudy skies with a low of 27. Let's get back to the on-air studio for all our fun and festivities that are upcoming on the 8 o'clock half hour.
And we can start off festively with giving away a birthday cow pie. So today, December 7th, is I want to wish a very happy birthday to Cindy Marcotte from your friends at People's Place. And they hope you enjoy your special day.
And I have on December 7th, please wish Michael Pettit Jr. a happy birthday, 15 years old. Have a wonderful day. Love your family and friends. So happy birthday, Michael.
Well, let's put these in the randomizer and figure out who won. And congratulations, Michael. You won the cow pie from the Boyce Brothers Dairy Milk House, 62 O'Neill Street. Go on down and see the fine folks there and claim your cow pie and share it with your friends and your family. So congratulations.
Happy birthday.
And Yeah, so I believe on the line we have our guest, Bill Merchant. Bill, you with us?
Indeed I am. I'm sorry I couldn't make it, but our power is out still here. That heavy wind last night took out a tree down the way, and they say by noon. We'll see.
Are you still without power?
Yeah, went out at 8 last night. I'm fortunate I have a generator, but I had to get up this morning and get more gas for it.
Sure, and you have a lot to manage right now. Yeah, a lot to manage.
Well, because we were coming from Poughkeepsie last night, and and the lights we saw the lights went out around 8 o'clock. We had stopped to get something to eat, and I can't believe you're still without power. Oh, that's not good.
I think I know where the tree is down. I passed it getting gas, and there's no crew there right now. Just saying, Central Hudson.
Hint, hint. Yeah.
At least we have a generator that powers up, keeps the heat on and the water running. So
that's good. That's good. So I just saw something on Facebook. I think it was Facebook, Bill, but where you were speaking about Ulster County Historical Society, and they're making some changes, and you were saying how nice it is to all be within a few miles of one another to share your love of history. Maybe you could speak about that a little bit.
As well as working at the D&H Canal Historical Society, I'm also the vice president of Ulster County Historical, and I'm head of collections and on the board at the Century House Historical Society. And I suppose they're all within, all spitting distance from my house here. And each of them is, like most cultural organizations, making plans for the future. And Ulster County Historical wants to pivot from being a house museum and celebrating the Bevere family, which they've done for 40 or 50 years now, and do something more in a general, something about the common people and a more targeted new museum. We're going to be changing the name coming up, so it won't be the Bevere House Museum anymore. And we're making changes to the. We've been doing it slowly. I curated their historic tool room 2 or 3 years ago and cleaned that all up. I'm proud of how that turned out, and we're sort of doing that throughout that museum. That institution's been around since 1859, I think it is. So they've got a wealth of material, and we want to figure out ways to share it with the public.
It's been a historical society or whatever since 1859?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
That's amazing, right?
I mean,
they were history back then.
Yeah, that's worthy of a museum itself.
Well, Ulster County was 200 years old at that point, right? I mean, so...
Now, where exactly is that? Is that on 209?
It's right on 209 before you get to Hurley. A beautiful old house.
It is.
And some wonderful collections. There's just some, so much stuff has come through to them. Some great documents, maps of the Hardenberg patent, and I don't have the time to really dig in. It's always been my dream to just spend days and days there going through their archives to see what they've got. I did get to go in. It's sort of what initiated me, before I joined the board. I went through their collection of Depew documents. They have 100 documents having to do with Jacob and Simeon Depew, and it really helped me flesh out the story of that family that built the house that our museum will be opening in next spring.
Now, were they Depews and Hardenbergs? They were patentees?
Well, Hardenberg, the Hardenberg patent was the patent, for this whole area. I mean,
from the Dutch government or whatever, right? Okay.
It was actually the English at that point. It was the early 18th century. The Hardenberg patent comes in, and it was, a bunch of rich guys who found favor with the people in charge, managed to get claim to just, acres and acres and acres in the area. All the land that we're on was part of the Hardenberg patent originally. And in fact, if you know about the rent wars in the 19th century, that's a holdover from the patents, from these big landed families owning vast territories. In this case, you got the right to farm. I think it was for 2 lives or something. But basically, you were beholden to the property owner. And by the 19th century, the farmers weren't having that anymore, and that started the famous anti-rent wars. Is really what they were.
Well, I've never heard of that. What can you explain that for a minute?
So you had these people who found favor with the nobility, basically, with the people who ruled the area for the British before we were a sovereign nation of our own. The deal that you got was you got land, but you didn't really own it, basically, and and it would go through generations, and you had to then give X amount of whatever you produced on the land went to the patentee. And by the 19th century, this had been going on for over a century, and basically the farmers, you make improvements on your land, and you didn't own it. And so the anti-rent wars, people got up in arms. They dressed like Native Americans, and they went, and there was one sheriff was shot trying to sell the property of somebody whose overlord, if you will, was foreclosing on them.
You all right in there?
We're losing you,
the
Bill.
phone or what?
Part of our history that I guess I thought everybody knew about, but then I've read so much history, I suppose, that you don't know about the anti-rent wars. If you go into the Senate House Museum, they've actually got one of the outfits.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, because you're basically breaking the law. Large groups of farmers would come when there was auctions and interfere. Nobody would bid, because basically it was a very unfair system. And in the end, the state of New York dissolved it and resolved it where the people got the land that they had been farming for generations.
That's interesting. I never heard. Yeah, you're assuming that me and our listeners know as much history.
No.
Yeah, that's a pretty obscure thing. That's great. I mean, it's
funny. It's one of those things that gets talked about so much when you talk about Ulster history that somebody like me who reads so much history just figures, everybody knows about the anti-rent wars. Doesn't touch on the canal much, but it's still a fascinating part of our history.
Yeah. Well, it's all
It all ties
history,
in, right?
You know about it. You know a little bit about all of our history, Bill. That's pretty interesting.
It's a fascinating history. There's just so much. The rest of my life I'll spend studying our local history, be it the D&H or these other. I'm fascinated by the story of the Dutch. We're not New England, we're New Netherlands. New York City is a very Dutch city and was from the start. At the time, in the 17th century, the Dutch were the most liberal of the European countries because they had been under the thumb of the Holy Roman Emperor, the Spanish. And when they broke away, they were like nuts to this, and they got a more egalitarian, and that informed the city of New York from the start. Manhattan had, I think, in 1642 there were 17 different languages being spoken there. It was an international center even then.
And it hasn't changed since, right?
Exactly. There's probably more languages spoken there now.
Yeah, absolutely. So how are things going with the museum and the house, Bill, at this point?
Moving right along. The wonderful painters, Rebecca Shea and Britton Baker, and his daughter Emma, have just winding up the interior painting based on a historic paint analysis that we got a grant to do. Anything we do in the house has to be approved by the State Historic Preservation Office, which is fine by us because our aims are the same. We want to make sure that we don't misrepresent the history. To that end, we had historic paint analysis done by Mary Jablonski down in New York City. The text came up and they were overjoyed. Normally when you're doing a historic paint analysis, one of the things they said, you gotta have somebody who knows the building because so much gets changed over centuries that, you don't want to sample on something that was done in the 20th century. Well, the Depew Tavern, everywhere you look is original. There is very little new, remodeled, rebuilt. The historic North Addition is a complete recreation, but the interior and the stone building itself is basically as found. I always remark to people that this building has a remarkable level of historic integrity. You won't go into a building that's so much like it was when it was built. In fact, in the course of working on the building, so Jablonski does the paint analysis, and I learned an awful lot. The earliest finishes were just wallpaper, and indeed, we discovered in the course of cleaning up the walls, we have a section of the wallpaper. It's now encased in a piece of plexiglass so that you can see it. It's 1797 wallpaper still on the walls.
We have the same thing at the Person House.
Was it
We have a piece of wallpaper that's still that we uncovered that's still there from the early 1700s. Yeah.
Was it decorated? Or was it just plain to cover the wattle and daub or whatever the heck it was, plaster?
Well, it was put up over the lime plaster, and it had a pattern on it. I've got to get a good picture of it. We're going to see if maybe we can figure out what pattern it was. At the time they used woodblock prints to print wallpaper. Fascinating enough, as they did the paint analysis, they found, I think it was 30 paint samples after 1920, which is to say, I don't care about that. And in fact, the earliest paint samples that we found that they could identify only dated from 1850. At this point, the building was 53 years old, or at least the main section, and the first edition came in 1827, so it was 30 years older. But fortunately, we found colors that corresponded to the era in 1850, which is when the Canal Company bought the building. So if you want to talk about period of interpretation, that was exactly where we wanted to, the data we needed to select the paint colors.
That's fortunate. What kind of colors? Were they just like earth tones or whites or what?
Well, you never have a pure white. That doesn't happen until the 1920s.
Yeah.
So anybody who's seen the exterior will see that the white trim is an off-white. So the ceilings and walls are an off-white. It's a Benjamin Moore color called Lighthouse. And ceilings and walls were painted the same color in the era, but people didn't get fancy. And then the trim is a kind of blue. It's kind of a nice bright blue. And it was really rewarding after we had done the paint analysis, but before we had started painting, I'm working around the house and there was a big chip of paint in the 1827 part. And when I took the paint off, underneath it was exactly the color that we're painting the trim.
You lucked out.
So it really looks great. It's really cleaning up nice. And electricians are in the house because we're putting in all new electric service. There was electric put in the 1930s or 40s. Well, that's dangerous, right? And then during the restaurant era, it just seemed like their solution was just to throw in another breaker box. So there was all sorts of stuff. It was a big nut. We pulled everything out and all new services being put in. And that's an ongoing
a big job.
Real big job.
job.
Yeah, I shudder to think about what it costs.
Now, did you say
once it's done, and it's being done well. Gavin of New Pulse. Might as well give a little plug for him. New Pulse, although he's so busy right now, New Pulse Electric is doing it, doing the job for us.
Did you say
will culminate with them installing the museum quality lighting under the supervision of a lighting contractor in January? So that stuff will all be in place in time for the exhibits designers, fabricators who are working furiously. We did go out and put out signposts last week. We're putting interpretive signage outside, which I've been wanting to do for a decade now. I'm so excited. There'll actually be signs on the 5 Lots Walk finally. And so we're moving apace. And the signage will go up much like the outdoor element that we celebrated last month. There'll be a sign that belongs to that, and that'll actually link to a video that Courtney McNamara and I have been working on. So lots going on around the old house.
What's the anticipated day or anticipated time of opening, Bill?
Well, all of everybody's contract has been done by the end of April.
Okay.
So we'll probably do a soft opening in May, So we need brochures, but we don't have a product to get pictures of yet. So we'll do a soft opening, and we'll use that as an opportunity to get photographs of people in the facility. Nobody's actually picked an actual opening date, but it'll be in May or June. We're having a big celebratory fundraising dinner with Open Space Institute at Mohawk Mountain House on June 12th. We'll be celebrating Bob Enderberg. Bob Enderberg, if people must know the name, he's a general counsel for Open Space Institute. But Bob has protected more of the Shawangum mountains here and protected more land than anybody alive. He's done so many great things. And Bob was instrumental in us acquiring the Depew Canal House. He's the one that got Open Space to be our partner with the state of New York. We would never have gotten the funds without a partner like Open Space Institute. And Bob is the head of our advisory board as well. So it's going to be a wonderful fundraiser. The funds will be split between Open Space and the Canal Society, but Open Space has already said that they want to reserve that money for outdoor projects of ours. So we'll probably use it for enhancing the 5 Locks Walk. We've got an awful lot going on outside, so it's really wonderful of Open Space to both host this with us and then to have the proceeds help High Falls.
Absolutely. That's nice.
Yeah.
Now, you said you're going to be installing signs, interpretive signs on the 5 Locks Walk. Though they're up year round, they're self-guided. Is the walk itself open
basically
year round?
up year round. And the first sign that you see will be by the silhouette of a girl mule driver, and that'll have a QR code link that'll link to this video. And we were fortunate enough to get, I probably talked about it on the show before, a woman by the name of Catherine Huftel in 1956 being interviewed about her life as a mule driver in the 1890s for her father's boat. And so it's Courtney introduces since it's about women and girls, it would be, my voice won't be in it at all. I'll just be behind the scenes, if you will. It's Courtney, and then it's Catherine Huftel talking about what life was like. And we're sort of aiming it to the younger set. It's to introduce the canal to children. But I think children of all ages will be fascinated. She's the only girl mule driver whose name we know. There is only one image of a girl mule driver. It's a famous painting by E.L. Henry. And recently, the Cragsmore Free Library found the photograph that it was painted from.
Wow.
So it's a real girl, but there's only one. There were hundreds of girls that worked, but women are the most marginalized. We had the name of 2 other girl mule drivers, but it was their married names. The patriarchy lives on. Catherine Huftel is the sole name, and as I say, I've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of images of boats and mule drivers on the D&H Canal. There's only one image of a girl.
Wow,
That's something, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, very much so.
I mean, you think they would have had, that's my daughter, take her picture, that's weird. But the known image isn't Kathy Huftel, is it?
No, that would be too much to hope for.
Yeah, that would be
No, we don't know who it is. It's definitely the Ellenville area. There's things about the image that make it clear, so E.L. Henry lived in Cragsmore, part of the time. He was a founding member of the Cragsmore Arts Colony. A guy by the name of LeGrand Botsford, his parents had a tavern on Lake Marizanta, and then he later had one. He was an artist himself and a painter, more of a folk painter, and he took photographs. And the Cragsmore Free Library, Bayat Curl, the curator, they were donated 130 black and white glass negatives. And I went to the opening of the show just because LeGrand Botsford, we have 3 of his paintings in our collection. I wanted to see. I did not expect to see a photograph of On the Towpath, which is the name of the painting. When I saw the print of it, I said, that's got to be a picture of the painting because it was so spot on. And Bayat said, well, I don't know. The paper envelope just said canal seed. It didn't say On the Towpath. And I happen to have a high-quality photograph of the painting, and so I sent it to him. He took the color out of it. We put them side by side, and wouldn't you know, there was clear signs that the photograph was the photograph he painted it from. But E.L. Henry was such a good painter that it's almost exactly the same image.
Now, where does that original, the painting, where's the original?
I do not know. The Canal Society was offered it back in the 90s for $350,000, which is to say about a decade's worth of our budget at that point in time. Needless to say, we didn't purchase it. I would like to find out who's got that painting. I don't know. The Deborah Forrest Gallery was offering it for sale in the 90s, so presumably if I went to them, they may or may not tell me who purchased it.
Yeah. Just because even having access to it to allow a high-quality image to be a reproduction image or something,
Right.
For your museum.
I discovered in our archives a 4x5 glass positive, not glass, but a positive, like a slide, but a big one that was sent by the house to interest us in the painting.
Oh, okay.
So I have a high quality copy of it. And the latest Hudson River Valley Review from Marist Institute has got it on the cover. My article on the marginalized workers of the D&H Canal is featured in that and I made the cover. Look at that.
Wow,
Oh, well,
there you go.
E.L. Henry
Yeah,
made the cover.
Yes, on newsstands now, right?
Right.
Pick one up at the gas station.
Yes, please. Go out and buy it. It's a great read. There's also a wonderful article by my good friend Professor Paul King, who's a John Roebling expert, and there's an article of his about Roebling's suspension aqueducts in the Hudson Valley. So it's a D&H centered.
So you said
issue.
Lake Mount Tazara or whatever. Isn't that the one that's right on top of Cragsmore?
Exactly. Yep. It's the one. It's at Sam's Point Preserve now.
Yeah, there was an inn on that lake.
There were 2 or 3 of them. The original one built right up against the stone.
Wow.
There's no trace of any of that left, obviously.
That's like
you go up there now, and it looks like an alien landscape.
It does. I've been there in the winter, dead of winter, and it looks like the Martian or the Antarctic up there. It's crazy up there. I can't believe. So that they must have been tourists. Cause it's probably a few degrees cooler up there in the summer. So they
that's
must
a good
have been
point.
like tourists inns, not like the local pub. Because it's a pain in the neck to
Yeah,
get up
presumably.
there.
Right.
Huh.
So both his family ran one, and then when they passed, he ran. And it was 2 or 3 different buildings. I think one of them burned. There's a pretty good history of as much as anybody knows about LeGrand Botsford in that area. I believe a link to the Cragsmore Free Library. I think.
Huh. Interesting.
That is
Which, by the way, has got a wonderful collection of both LeGrand Botsford and E.L. Henry paintings on display in it. If you're up in Cragsmore, if the library is open, you want to go. I think the show. I don't know, but I think the show of the photographs might still be up. So a print of the canal scene that became on the towpath is also you can see there.
That is.
I imagine the Cragsmore Library is seasonal or weekend or
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Just because it's a pretty small community up there. And
yeah.
Anyhow, what else you got? You got any exciting holiday plans coming up? Any more lectures or anything? You're certainly done with the Rondout boats and all that.
Yeah, until next year. They want me back, so that's nice.
Well, that's good. Return engagement. They offer you a pay
says
raise?
that the library is open. Sorry, I because it's the age we live in. It's open now. It's open Tuesdays and Thursdays, Fridays and Saturdays. So there you go.
There you go. Go check out the Cragsmore Free Library. Check out some original local art.
So I constantly now, find myself, somebody asks a question. We don't have to guess. We have Google. We can
that's
go look it up.
Yeah, you don't even have to type.
So
You
true.
can just ask now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what else? Any other thing you want to add in the last couple minutes that we have? Historical
Just
tidbits?
wish everybody a happy holiday. It's December already, isn't it? We won't be back
Yes.
again until next year.
That's right.
Where does the
Yeah,
time go?
everybody. Everybody's on today. You can see till the new year. Well, we hope you get your power back, Bill. Hopefully that will be soon. Thank goodness you have a generator.
Sooner or later. At least I'm fortunate enough to have a generator that powers enough of the house that it stays warm and my food stays.
Yeah, right.
As long as you can power your
Cold.
furnace.
That's huge. Yes. Yeah, it makes a big difference. And it was cool last
get-
night, so.
Well, yeah, and the power goes out often enough around here. It really is, we fire up the generator 3 or 4 times a year. We're just fortunate that we've got the generator. So,
Yeah,
I don't know about the rest of it. One of my neighbors saw me putting gas in the generator and said, "Hey, how come we're the only ones without power?" And I was able to tell him because, of course, in the age we live in, I get alerts from Central Hudson. First, it was going to be ready at 4 in the morning, then 5 in the morning. Now they're saying noon.
You cut out a little bit there, Bill. Sounds like you dropped the phone or something. But yeah, you something about putting gas. Your neighbor saw you putting gas in the generator and got worried. Thought you knew something he didn't, or hello. I think we lost cell phone coverage too. All right,
we did.
Well, why don't we go to
did
break?
lose him. Yeah.
Why don't we go to break? Bill, if you're listening, thank you very much.
Bill, if you're listening, you can call back and finish your, finish those last
By
thoughts.
the time you call back, you'll have about a minute. So
either that or after the break.
yeah, but I hear Nancy in the lobby, so why don't
Yeah, we'll go to break.
Let's see if we can go to break early, and then we'll get Nancy and her guest in. So.
Absolutely. And thank you. Nina Poshpak, Cameron Rylance, and a very, very special thanks to Bill Merchant for calling in this morning. And it's Tuesday, December 7th, 34 degrees here in Uptown Kingston. And this morning program was brought to you by Robert Baum Commercial Realty, located at 79 St. James Street, Kingston, New York. Visit rgbaum.com for more information. We'll be right back after these messages.
What grows in the forest? Our imagination. And what grows in the forest? Our imagination and our family bonds. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council. Look through your children's eyes, and you will discover the true magic of a forest.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
Hi, my name is George Post from Ulster Park, New York, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you. Where else can you speak to your local representatives on the air and have your questions answered? So thank you, and support KCR.
And we're back. You're with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM. A little bit about the weather for the next 3 days. Today it's going to be a high of 40 degrees, partly to mostly cloudy. I guess we'll have some sun. And cloudy skies Tuesday night with a low of 28. A little bit of snow showers possible tonight. And Wednesday, overcast with a few flurries or snow showers possible, a high of 38. And Wednesday night, mostly cloudy early, then clearing later on with a low of 26. And some sun in the morning on Thursday with increasing clouds during the afternoon, a high of 37. And Thursday night, mostly cloudy with a low of 27 degrees. Let's get back. We just have to let you know that this upcoming portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Rondout Savings Bank. Many locations throughout the Mid-Hudson Valley, and one near you. Let's get back to the on-air studio with all of our terrific Tuesday team.
There we go. Well, Nancy Shando and Taylor Bruck, good morning.
Morning.
And,
Morning.
Today is a rather important anniversary in American history. So.
Yeah, a solemn Remembrance Day for Pearl Harbor. 80 years today since the attack on Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. And Kingston does have a casualty from the Pearl Harbor attack. His name was Robert Joseph Flannery, a young man who was born in Kingston, went to St. Peter's School, graduated from Kingston High School in 1939, and he joined the Navy in 1940. And unfortunately, happened to be at Pearl Harbor for the attack in 1941. So I know the city has done some things to memorialize Robert Flannery. Taylor, tell us what the city has to remember Flannery by.
Sure. So there's a plaque in front of City Hall that says his name and Pearl Harbor, and it says, lest we forget, which I think is a little ironic because I feel like a lot of people have forgotten. I didn't know it was there. And
No, I didn't. Where is it located, Taylor?
It's, Nancy, you just took a photo of it. It's right in front of the big Civil War monument.
The big tall statue that's right in the front of the steps.
Yes.
It's right at the base of that.
Oh.
And that's it. It's a nice marker, Pearl Harbor. It says, lest we forget.
I have to be honest with you, all the times I've been there, I've never noticed.
I have never seen that before either. Somebody told me it was there, and I went there on Sunday to take a picture, and it says Robert J. Red Flannery, 7 December 1941, lest we forget. And I do feel like it is kind of quiet about Pearl Harbor. I did see something on TV this morning, which was very nice, little remembrance, but it's not like I remember it used to be such a solemn day. Even when I was in school, people would talk about it in a quiet voice. It was the biggest attack on America.
Well, you know, they had an article in the Freeman this morning in regard to it. Also, gentleman who's 101 years old was going to a ceremony, and he was on the, I want to say the Oklahoma, but I'm not positive about that. But anyway, the point being that he's 101 years old, so the individuals that lived through that are mostly gone now, and I think it's important for us to keep that memory alive and on that
That's
day,
right.
and in people's minds.
And I saw this morning on the news, Pearl Harbor right now is having some very, very bad weather, an extremely bad storm and flooding. And some of these veterans who survived the attack are there for maybe the last time to be able to attend a ceremony. So they were being helped walking through the rain to get over to the memorial. So we hope they have a successful ceremony.
Been a blizzard on top of.
Oh, I did hear that.
Observatory up there.
Oh, really?
I did hear that.
Tons of snow, and then 14,000 feet down, it's palm trees and coconuts. But all the elevation, it's crazy.
It is.
Well, I did some research on Robert Flannery because I saw his picture. Actually, if you go to Friends of Historic Kingston website, fohk.org, and scroll down to New York Heritage, click on that. We have World War II exhibit that's online, and that's where these newspaper articles came from. The obituary of Robert Flanagan was on our Facebook page, along with some pictures. Robert Flanagan's high school picture, it appears to be, was with his obituary, and it's on findagrave.com. That's where I first found it. But so you can find some information there about if you're looking for more World War II information. But I just want to mention what I found about him, because he was only 19 years old when he was killed at Pearl Harbor. So just thought, what was his life like when he was here in Kingston? So I looked him up online, and I found out in the 1925 census, he lived with his father named Joseph Flanagan. And Joseph was a fireman in Kingston. His mother's name was Jenny. And Robert was 3 years old. Joseph was 1 year old. They had 2 children. By 1929, Robert Flannery's mother died. Her name was Jenny Shupp Flannery. And Robert was only 7 years old. He was born in 1922. His brother was born in 1924. And another brother, William, was born in 1926. So his mother was survived by her husband and 3 very young sons. By the 1930 census, I looked up Robert Flannery. He was a 7-year-old boy living with a family of Charles Diamond, and the census listed him as a boarder in the home. He was living with a relative. I believe the wife of Charles Diamond was Robert Flannery's mother's sister. So he was living with an aunt and uncle at that time. They must have had to place the 3 children because the father had to go to work. So he didn't have the easiest life here in Kingston. Sometime between 1930 and 1940, though, his father remarried a woman named May Finch. And then the family was back together again by the 1940 census, with 3 sons living together with May Finch Flannery, Joseph Flannery, and the 3 sons, Robert, age 17, Joseph, age 15, and William, age 14. And Robert had attended St. Peter's School in Kingston. He graduated from Kingston High School. He was known as Red Flannery. He was a member of the Banking Council, the Marshall System, and the Athletic Association. And after graduation, by the time in 1940, he enlisted in the Navy. He was sent away to Rhode Island first for a training session, and then sent to Pearl Harbor to be stationed aboard the USS Helena. So it sounds like that was a pretty good place to be stationed before you knew what was going to happen.
Yes, right.
He did have a friend over there that I heard a story about named Jenner Kittle, who was from Kingston. Jenner Kittle was stationed aboard the USS West Virginia, and they would see each other occasionally, and December 6th, they made plans to meet each other on the 7th of December 1941 for lunch, and then go swimming over at Waikiki Beach. So, of course, the attack happened early morning.
Yeah. I mean, he was in the Navy for 5 months before
well,
Pearl
it was
Harbor.
1940 that he, and 41 was the attack. So it was about a year and a half.
Oh, okay, year and 5 months. Okay.
And his family had a party for him when he was leaving to go to the Navy in July of 1940. I found a Daily Freeman article from July 27th, 1940 that reports a combination birthday farewell party for Robert Flannery at their home on 632 Broadway in Kingston.
You know where that is?
I don't. I think it's in the UPAC area someplace, the 600s.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I know, like 670, 675. That's right by Down Street. So,
Oh, okay.
So maybe
An apartment
that block,
upstairs.
yeah, maybe that block in between.
Yeah, I didn't know where it was, but
You're looking at the guest list here.
yes, they list
Half
the
of these,
guests.
Davis's, Burgers,
Diamond.
Relier's. Those are all.
The two brothers, Mr. and Mrs. John Finch.
There's people we know whose relatives.
Yes,
at that party,
relatives that are still in town today.
Yeah.
And then he went off to Pearl Harbor to be stationed at the USS Helena, killed in action at the attack. And his family received word of his death on a couple of days after the event. And the Daily Freeman listed his death reported on December 19th, 1941, front page, top of the Daily Freeman, on one of the old newspapers I found online. So
I mean, his parents were awarded the Purple Heart, posthumously in his honor. But in 1947, Freeman reported that his body would return to Kingston. That's years later.
Yes.
Do you know anything about that?
Yes,
Lapse
because
or interim.
Well, after the attack, they couldn't be traveling and bringing bodies back across the ocean because we were at war at that time.
Yeah.
After the attack, Franklin Roosevelt went to Congress the next day, December 8th, and asked Congress to declare that we were at war with the Japanese Empire, which they did. And I do have the time they signed. Congress signed the war resolution on 4:10 p.m. on the 8th of December. So from that time, we were at war, and I suppose they just buried the casualties at Pearl Harbor until later. And the ones that could be identified were brought back after the war was over. And by the time they got to the Pearl Harbor people, it was 1947 before Robert Flannery was brought back to the United States. And then the train brought him back. He came over on a ship called the Honda Knot.
3,068 fallen heroes, aboard that Honda Knot to San Francisco.
Yes, and then they were dispersed to their various hometowns.
Yeah, just thinking about, they didn't have barcodes and scanners and stuff back then. Just the logistical problem of, assigning, the fallen soldiers that they could remain, because we've all seen the pictures of how the inferno that virtually all Pearl Harbor was. Soldiers that were the clerical nightmare that was keep tracking that and where are these remains being held. Whatever, I can't imagine.
Well, he was brought to the West Shore Railroad station in Kingston, and a large delegation of veterans met the train. It was escorted to the grave at St. Mary's Cemetery with full military honors by the Kingston Veterans Association, and a delegation of KHS students and drummers from the KHS band accompanied the casket to the cemetery as well. So they did a nice ceremony for him when they did bring him home. And interesting enough, I was Googling Pearl Harbor last night, and I found a story about 2015. They started to exhume the bodies of the graves at Pearl Harbor that were unidentified bodies. So it sounds like they returned the bodies they could identify after the war, but they did not return the ones they could not identify. And in 2015, they were doing exhumations and then checking the DNA. And out of 365, I think, something like that, bodies that they took out, they were able to identify like 361 and bring them back now.
Almost 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
And bring them back now and bring the remains to their families who could bury them in the United States. So even the last 5 or 6 years, they were bringing back
ongoing
veterans from Pearl Harbor, and I'm sure those families were happy too.
Now, other than Red Flannery and Mr. Dietz, who was truly an American hero. His commendation reads like a novel, like a movie trailer. Unbelievable. Are there any other of any other Kingstonians that were
Nina.
decorated?
We know you have one in your family.
Decorated soldiers
that passed away that was killed in action.
Purple Heart or commendated or reward.
Yeah, my uncle was killed over Italy. He was a airline. He was in the airline. He was a pilot. And he was a pilot. And he never ever got to see his son. His son was born after he was deployed and never got to see his son. Yeah, so you don't realize.
Can you recall what year that was?
I don't off the top of my head. Yeah, I don't.
In Italy, that was.
Yeah.
The most action in Italy was around 43.
43?
Okay.
So,
wow. I did a whole.
Do either of you, I put you on the spot, either recall when Robert Dietz was killed?
Well, Robert Dietz was very close to the end of the war. I know that because I have been to his grave at St. Mary's, Wiltwyck Cemetery. And the date is on the headstone. And it was maybe 3 weeks before the end of the war.
Really? Wow.
Robert Dietz died.
Mid-40s, whatever, 44?
45. Yeah, he was close to.
Wow.
A little more time, he could have made it to the end of the war. But his headstone at Wiltwyck Cemetery faces West O'Reilly Street. And it's interesting because the letter written by Harry Truman is engraved on the headstone with the signature of Harry Truman at the bottom, who was president that nominated him for the Medal of Honor. But Kingston, I looked it up over the weekend. New York State had 6,270 casualties during World War II. I don't know how many they had for Pearl Harbor itself. Total casualties, military and civilian, for Pearl Harbor, I found were 2,403. And then total casualties for World War II itself was 405,399 deaths from U.S. military.
And you can go to the county office building and the monument in the front of the building.
That's right.
List all of the county that were killed in action during World War II, during all of our. Yes.
Yes, it's a beautiful monument.
Yeah, it really is.
That's very good. So, Kingston, this was the first casualty from the war. Robert Joseph Flanagan was the first casualty from Kingston, from World War II, because it was the first event of the war.
Right.
And so...
St. Mary's, that's off of...
Foxhall.
Oh, okay, by the tracks there.
Yes, yeah, go over the railroad tracks. So, we honor him today because it seems to be that we're not talking about it as much, although I did see a little bit. There was something in the paper and something on television today. But we've moved on.
80 years, it's a long time, but it's not very long. It's,
when you look at history
what,
in
the
general.
world went through only 80 years ago.
And, when you look into the history of it, the country pulled together right after this event. Everybody pulled together because we wanted to win this war. Only 3 days after Pearl Harbor, Germany declared war on the United States, which for a while I didn't realize that. We didn't declare war on them, they declared on us. So then we find ourselves fighting a war on two sides and losing people in Europe like your family did, and Pacific as well. And so I can't imagine having two wars on both sides of the world going on at the same time. And the whole country pulled together with Franklin Roosevelt as president. They were doing victory gardens, and they were collecting scrap metal for the Army's cause and collecting tires for the cause of the service. And
rags for ammunition.
Right.
Everything they could do, the country was pulling together all as one. And at that time, we were totally united, something that's hard to...
Yeah, rationing books.
Yeah, right,
rationing books. And,
yes.
I remember my dad's mom spoke about that.
And I don't remember hearing anybody complain about having to do that.
It was a national thing. It was
everybody was happy to do it. It was for the war effort.
Yeah.
And never again will there ever be an attempt at an empire. Ever
Hopefully
again.
not.
Ever again.
Hopefully not. I don't know. Our friends in China might have slightly different aims with their expansion in the South Pacific, but that's another topic for another show.
I would like to mention about 5 years ago, so it must have been the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, the FDR Library had a temporary exhibit on Pearl Harbor, and I'm a docent there when we're open enough to be working in there, which we're not right now. But at that time, I was working in that exhibit, and it was amazing. I wish they could have kept it for permanent. They took the Pearl Harbor story and told it for the first 24 hours after Roosevelt was notified. And the exhibit was divided into separate rooms, hour by hour by hour, with a big clock.
Oh, that
with
would
the
have been
time.
amazing.
So you could see what Roosevelt was going through during that time. And he got notified at about 1:30 in the afternoon. He was sitting upstairs in his private study, and there's a picture of him, big blown-up picture of him there, sitting at the private study, at the Resolute desk, which was upstairs in the private study at the time. It never came down to the Oval Office until John F. Kennedy. But anyway, he was upstairs sitting at that desk with an aide and got notified by the Secretary of Navy in person that this had happened. And then immediately, the next hour, you go into the next room, and it showed the cabinet came in, and they had chairs for each cabinet member who was sitting there and talking to Roosevelt about that. And then another aide came in the next room. You follow these rooms around, and they had a lot of technology in there, too, with screens where you could follow the ships or the planes. Where did the Japanese go after they bombed Pearl Harbor? I didn't realize the whole story. They went on and on and on to other places and bombed other places as well. So the attacks continued. And the exhibit ended when you got to December 8th, when Roosevelt went up to Congress and made the speech, "This is a day which will live in infamy."
Yeah.
And it shows him giving that speech, and then that was where that exhibit ended. It was very moving.
Yes.
And, of course, right now they don't have a temporary exhibit because of the pandemic, but I wish they could have kept that one open.
Contrast that to the 9/11 when George Bush is sitting in a kindergarten class reading to kids, and some aide leans over and says, "Mr. President, we got a problem." You know, it's like, that.
Crazy.
Out of the
What do you
blue,
do?
you're reading to kids. You're up in your library, thinking about life or whatever, and the
Moments.
power, the chair you're sitting in.
Yeah.
The buck stops there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
The Roosevelt
It's
Home.
chilling,
Yeah, the Roosevelt Home has a direct line to Washington, D.C. and the White House that, I mean, at the time, in 1943, 44, so that Roosevelt, right next to his bed.
Yeah.
It had to be right next to his bed.
And he made many trips back to Hyde Park during the war. So he was back to Hyde Park quite a bit, and would use that phone and work in his first the private office, and then after the museum was opened in 1941, he used the office in the library. So he was working there as a sitting president.
Wow, that's cool.
But
Is the library open now?
the library has limited opening time. You have to reserve online. Visitor Center is not open to buy tickets. Reserve online, you have limited time of 2 hours and limited number of people in there. And last I heard a couple of weeks ago, they were still not showing any of the movies, films, speeches, no videos running, and you can't touch any of the technology.
That's a shame.
So it's a
Whenever
shame.
it reopens.
When will that be changing?
Yeah. So they're on limited
Any idea
opening.
when that may expand?
Well,
or-
I did speak to the director of the library, and he said the National Archives has a very strict rubric of what the numbers have to be able to open, and the Dutchess County is not meeting the percentage of the numbers. So when they meet that percentage, the library can open fully. But I think right now they're only allowed to have 25% of their staff on board at any one time.
Let's hope they can get the staff back after.
They have to bring
after
the
every-
they have to bring the staff in, and then they have to get ready.
Not necessarily management or docents, but custodians and the building engineers and the whatever. That's
Well, they're all on limited basis,
Yeah.
and
Hope they can get them all back.
I was in there this summer when they did open on a limited basis. First time I went in, and it's very strange because there's no sound and there's no technology. The lighting is low because the movies aren't running. It's usually such a vibrant
it
place
is.
that tells the story. The videos weren't working and all the benches where people sit and watch the movies are all stacked up against the walls because you can't have people sitting next to each other too close. So it's very sad at this time. It's a wonderful museum, and it'll be open. I can't wait for it to reopen again to its full extent, and they will eventually, and we'll be back on board. But anyway, they did have a wonderful Pearl Harbor exhibit, and they do have a section on Pearl Harbor in the permanent exhibit also. So, and what's on display when they had that temporary exhibit was the original letter that Roosevelt, the original speech that he gave to Congress on December 8th, the typed version. He dictated it to his secretary the evening of December 7th. He wrote the speech himself. No speechwriter was on hand for him on a Sunday. He wrote that speech himself. At first it said, "A day which will live in world history." The secretary typed the speech all up and gave it to him to edit, and he crossed out world history and said infamy. And that speech, a copy of it is on the wall in the library, but the real speech was in a glass case at this temporary Pearl Harbor exhibit, which they rarely ever take out the real one, but it was on display in an exhibit where you could actually look at the speech that his reading copy that he held in his hand and edited in pencil himself. So it was an event that was a cataclysmic at its time, during its time, and now we're kind of more leaning towards the 9/11 was so bad. We forget because we're so many generations removed from this. But when we see somebody like Robert Flannery, who was 19 years old, and his life was cut short, and your relative whose life was cut short, we have to remember what our ancestors went through with World War II. So we're grateful that I'm glad I found out from Taylor about Flannery Lane, the turnaround at City Hall. Tell us about that.
So the way I learned about Red Flannery was I was talking to Ed Ford about his Streetwise books, where he went through all the streets of the city of Kingston and wrote down why they got their name and how. And he said there's one street, there's a couple, but there's one in particular that I didn't put in the book because it's not an official city street. So I said, okay, go on. He said Flannery Drive or Flannery Lane.
Flannery Lane. I thought it was Drive, but the sign says Lane.
Flannery Lane is the name of the turnaround in front of City Hall.
The Loop?
The Loop.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And
there's a sign.
I know. And there is a sign there. It doesn't look like any of the other street signs in Kingston because it's not an official street. But it is called Flannery Lane after Red Flannery.
Wow.
And there's also a Flannery Street in Poughkeepsie, so his family moved to Poughkeepsee about a month before he went off to war. So Poughkeepsie honored him as well and named a street after him. But yeah, speaking of the past generations and whatnot, we were so fortunate at Person House this year to have the God and Country event that came to Person House, and there were 2 Pearl Harbor survivors at Person House telling their story on camera. Yeah, and Ellen Bogan filmed it, so hopefully it'll be up on YouTube. Or yep, they're editing it right now. But yeah, and they were talking about how, if you were in Pearl Harbor, you had to be at least 18. So it's 2021 now. You're 98 minimum.
Yeah.
So in the next handful of years, they're all going to be gone. So if anyone has a chance to talk to a World War II vet, we're not going to have that opportunity much longer. So take it in.
I did find that Robert Flannery does have one surviving brother. His brother William is still alive and lives in Chicago. So he does have some relatives.
In this obituary, going through, I want to say this to show Bill. Merchant? No, not Bill Merchant. Veterans.
Bill Forte.
Bill Forte. About some of the guys that were in here, but Larry Quilty was a pallbearer. The names in here, unbelievable. John Glennon, it's crazy.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
From the veterans.
And it shows the names of the firing squad. The bugler.
Yes, the pictures I have here and the obituary are all on the Friends of Historic Kingston Facebook site.
Okay.
So if you can get onto that, you can just tap on the post from yesterday about this radio show, and all these pictures are on there. I did want to mention that Jenner Kittle, the surviving Pearl Harbor guy that was friends with Robert Flannery, did survive the attack from Pearl Harbor, and he stayed in the service, made a career out of it until 1960. He returned to Kingston, lived on Florence Street, and he was married. His wife's name was Norma, and he had 2 sons, and he became vice president of Ulster Savings Bank. And he lived until 2004, age 83. So he was supposed to spend the day at Waikiki Beach with Robert Flannery. So maybe they had done that in the past. I hope they had some good times at Waikiki while it was peaceful over there. And so 2 young men from Kingston, one made it out and had a normal life and lived to 83. The other one unfortunately died at the age of 19. So we remember him today.
I didn't know him, Cam, but in that exact same discussion with Ed, he told me that Florence Street is the only street in the city of Kingston that he has no idea what it's named after.
Well, that's interesting.
Wasn't able to find it anywhere.
Wow.
He said, he said, I don't know, maybe there was someone there that really liked to vacation in Florence, Italy, or someone's wife was named Florence. He said, I couldn't find anything at all. That's this one single street
Well,
that
if
he had
Ed
no
couldn't
clue.
find it, that's
And
right.
then it's a mystery. No one else will find it, yeah.
Thank you for telling us that. That's
So we have
interesting.
just a few seconds left, and I'd like to take time. Thank you guys so
Yes,
much
thank
for
you. Always
this information. It
interesting.
is, it's a very solemn day that deserves remembering.
Yeah, and
our local
he deserves
heroes.
to be remembered. And thank you for giving us this time to remember Kingston's first war casualty of World War II. And we were going to be getting into something else, some events for the future 2022 in Kingston. Can we come back? Can Taylor come back again?
Oh, absolutely.
I
Yes.
appreciate that, Taylor, because we have some exciting events planned in Kingston, and I'd like to hear you tell us about some of those in the future.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
2022
Anytime.
will be a big year.
All right, good.
Okay.
So, Nancy, thank you very much. Taylor, thank you very
Taylor.
much. Listeners, thank you
Have
very
a
much. for
terrific
listening.
Tuesday.
And we'll see you next week. All right, Dan, take it away.
Thank you, Cam, and thank you, Nina. Thank you, Nancy Shando, and thank you, Tyler Brook, and also Bill Merchant and Heidi Kirshner for being in as guests today. It is now 8:59 a.m., Tuesday, December 7th. This last portion of Kingston Community Radio was brought to you by Rondout Savings Bank. Many locations throughout the Mid-Hudson Valley, one right near you. Thank you for sharing the morning with us and participating in Kingston Community Radio, KCR, AM 920 and 92.5 FM, WGHQ, and our live streaming on mykcr.org. We invite you to be with us tomorrow for a Super Wednesday. And, of course, every weekday, 7 to 9 a.m., you are listening to Kingston Community Radio. And until tomorrow, we wish you every success in growing and developing Kingston and all our neighboring communities. We now return you to Magic 92.5.